Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing this morning? Good morning. Good morning, Amina. Good morning, Sierra. Good morning, Miss Phoenix. Good morning, Miss Benjamin. Good morning. It is Monday. Happy Monday. Hey, hello. How's everyone doing this morning? Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful morning, because I know I am, okay? But every once in a while, I go back to the basics. And right now, I'm gonna basically this is gonna jump off a start of going back to the basics, because we have so many new followers, so many new to the community, the Pedestal Wife Society. This is a community. This is a private society, a private community, and we uphold certain standards over here. And since most don't know who I am, my name is Braille. I am the operator, the creator of the Pedestal Wife Society. I probably look at over 100 plus videos a day in order to make sure I bring you content that's going to be useful so that you can evolve, elevate, and live your best life. That's what this community is all about. We're all about living the desires of our heart and living it well. So we're going back to the basics because we have so many new people. And I'm going to be jumping off with some of the things that I've done before, talked about before. If you know, you have access to my inner circle, some of these older videos where I talk about standards, boundaries, and values there in the inner circle community. But why not do some new ones for the new people that are coming into the community? So let me see what everybody is saying. I like your IG account. Thank you. I mean, I'm feeling good this morning. Yes, I am too. I absolutely am so happy, full of joy. I love my life. I want you to love yours also. That's the reason why I talk about so many different things. I talk about relationship. I talk about inner work. I talk about men. I talk about communication. I talk about how to deal with certain things that's happening in real life. Nappy Susie says, I feel so good since the workshop. Thank you. Thank you so much for being there and participating. I appreciate you so much. I think we had a blast at the workshop. The workshop that I just hosted, the Sovereign Feminine. There's so many gems, so much information that was dropped in that workshop. If you missed it, you can still get it. Just click the link in my bio. I hold workshops at least once a month. Sometimes I've missed those months because I am busy, vacation, traveling, family. I have all those things going on also myself. Some of you are new and don't know anything about me, so I'm going to talk about myself for a little bit, and then we're going to get into getting back to the basics of standards, boundaries, and values. My name is Braille. I have been married for 22 years. I will be married 23 in August. I have 4 children. Majority of my relationship, I've been a stay-at-home mother and mom. My husband has a provider mindset. We truly do believe in family. We're somewhat traditional, but we're also very sovereign, which means that he respects my thinking and my originality and who I am as a woman. And he doesn't try to squash that or make me to be something that I'm not. He accepts my entire being. He accepts the ugly, the bad, and the good. Okay? And we have so much fun together. I've talked about the fact that my archetype is the lover. I am the lover. Okay, so I'm not one of those girlies who will be like, oh, try to teach you how never to be around your husband or never to interact with him or never to have sex with him. That's not my bag, sis. My bag, I absolutely enjoy my husband. I'm a lover, and we have so much fun together. Okay, I truly do believe in family and having resources. I believe that women should be taken care of, but I believe that women should have options. I believe that women should have a foundation before they go into marriage, because that foundation is going to help them to evolve and elevate themselves. So I'm not the girl that is up here talking about, oh, you should not have anything or any type of foundation before you get married. I think it's silly for you to absolutely get in a marriage and then have nothing when you walk away. I would never be that girl. One of the things that my grandma taught me, and I talk a lot about what my grandmother taught me. I teach you all what my grandmother taught me. My grandmother taught me never walk into a home that you cannot afford. Never walk into something that don't ever get something that you cannot afford yourself, just in case he has a change of heart and he decides to leave you. So I will never teach my girls to not have nothing. That is not my bag. That is not my teachings. I truly do believe women need a foundation and they need to have resources. But I also don't believe you have to work yourself to death to get it. If I were to describe what I do with my own resources, I would consider myself to be an investor. I am an investor. I would invest so other people can make me money. That is how I do it. I would consider myself to be a feminine investor, which means I am consistently always passing the buck, outsourcing so other people can make me money. And that's how I see that. You always have to have your own foundation. You never know, even though I teach vetting and I'm good at it. Usually I'm really good at reading people and where they're coming from and who they are. And I teach you also to be that person, because we have to absolutely don't ignore discernment and intuition, because sometimes what you're feeling, your gut is telling you about that person is true. And we have to learn to trust that and walk with it instead of trying to rationalize it or think it away. So there's a lot that I teach on this page. I jump from topic to topic to topic. The Pedestal Wife Society, we're committed into talking about relationships, talking about inner circles, talking about men, talking about women. We talk about things that are going to elevate and help the community to evolve so that they can live their best lives. Because I do believe that as a women, if you do what you need to do to reach that status of womanhood, you can literally birth your own reality. You can change your destiny. You have a lot of control and power that you don't recognize that you have, because we live in a society that does its best to make sure that women don't know this. Or not just not know this, sometimes even the women in your family, they don't know this. And see, one of the things that I think I have an advantage, and I got an edge on other women, is because of my grandmother, because she taught me really old school stuff. And I teach you all that. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you stay, make sure that you continue to follow, cut on your notifications, because sometimes I do free trainings right here on social media. And I actually answer questions. I answer questions. A lot, sometimes people get so big, they don't answer questions. I answer questions. I try to answer every question as long as you're brave enough to ask it. Okay, I'm trying to learn more about myself and learn if the relationship I'm in is healthy. Absolutely. You'll learn it here. If you're open to learning, definitely plan to watch it today. Really wanted to be there with you ladies, but I had to attend my son's high school orientation. No problem. It's going to be active in the inner circle by this evening. It was a lot of information given. I mean, if you were there, you missed out on us talking about safety and how to create it for yourself. How some of the things that women are showing is that they don't feel safe. And you need to learn how to create safety for yourself before you can absolutely see that in a man, or pick a man who's going to bring you safety. Because safety is a feeling. Anything's a feeling. You have control over it. And so we talked about that. We talked about a lot of things. I talked about my childhood. I talked about some of the things I'm never going to talk about on social media. And that's usually why I do it in the workshops. I don't talk about it on social media because I do it in my workshops. But let's talk about standards, boundaries, and values. And I think what brought this up for me is the last post that I did on mine. Not the one about the guy who is not wanting to marry the girl because she got 5 baby daddies. We already know that's a skit, right? Okay, y'all don't be taking stuff serious. It's a skit. There's a lesson in the skit, but when it's a skit, it's a skit. I'm talking about the young man that is with this woman. They've been together since 2016. I can't even remember his name. I think his name Christian or Christiania. I can't say his name properly, so I don't want to butcher it. But he is not going to marry her. But they do have proper agreements to get in place. So if something happens and they break up, he's going to take care of her for the rest of her life. And I figured we need to talk about standards, boundaries, and values, because everybody's opinions is going to be based off of that. Everyone, when they looked at the question I asked, would you take it or would you wait for marriage? Everyone is going to take it based off of where they are with their standards, boundaries, and values. Now, and this is not to shame anybody, because it's never been my bag. My page is not about shame, judgment, or guilt. I will never try to guilt you or shame you or judge you, because that's not my thing, because I truly do believe that good and bad exist in the world, and there's no such thing. Everyone has a little good and bad in them. So it's not my bag to try to shame any woman about that. But I get where everyone is coming from. It's like, oh, I would take the financial agreement. I get it. Because at one point, I would take the financial agreement also. But one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older, and I'm 42, by the way. One of the things I've learned as I've gotten older, that I can't be bought. I can't be bought. So one of my values is family. I value family. This is why I push marriage. This is why I talk about marriage. This is why I encourage marriage. Because I value family and I value marriage. And since this is one of my values, I can't relinquish that just because some money is being put on the table. Just because money is put on the table, I don't relinquish my values, because I am the value, I am the standard, and I am the boundary. Now, when I was younger, before I knew myself and before I was to a place when I was in scarcity or any type of poverty, I probably would have taken the financial agreement, because I didn't understand. What are the things, when you take the financial agreement and it is something that goes against your inherent value that you have for yourself, it will break you down. So there's a spiritual, a mental, and a physical cost that no one's talked about when it comes to these financial agreements that men are giving with women. Now, if you are willing to take it, no shame, no judgment, no guilt. That's not I'm not discussing that. What I'm talking about is I get it. I absolutely understand why someone would be like, oh, I want the financial agreement. I want the money. And some of you are equating it to a business when the business contract, yes, that marriage is a part of business, but it's also a physical one and a spiritual one. I did a live stream way back when I talked about the fact that the life that we live, there's 3 realms. There's the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. And there's all cost when we go against any of those things. So I get it that women who haven't established themselves, or they don't truly know anything about their womanhood, or they just start now, or they're just being introduced to these concepts, that they would immediately take the financial agreement. But see, if I create an agreement with myself that I'm going to stand on my value, then I'm going to be the boundary, I'm going to be the standard, I'm going to be that person, then this means this will hurt me in the spiritual realm, because if I can't stand on my own agreement with myself, I'm going to hurt myself in the spiritual realm. I'm going to hurt myself along with my intuition, because it builds trust. It means that I may not trust myself to make decisions. So there's a cost. So it looks good. It looks shiny. It looks shiny. Like it looks very shiny. It looks very becoming. It looks like I want it too. Even when I saw the agreement, I was like, oh, that looks so enticing. But I personally wouldn't take it knowing what I know at 42. Like if I was 20, I was just getting started, I didn't know any better, I would take it with both hands, okay? I would take it with both hands. But I understand that there's a cost for this. There's a cost when you violate the agreement that you have with you. When you value something and you're willing to exchange your money for that value, there's a cost for it. Not only on the physical realm, there's a cost for it in the mental realm. There's a cost for it in the spiritual realm. And you have to realize all of those realms will be affected when you go against something that you believe in, something that you value. And this is the reason why I wouldn't take it per se, because I understand that now. When you get older, you kind of understand there's a cost just because it looks shiny, just because it's going to give you what you want, just because it's going to solve all your problems. It's still going to cause another problem. Because when you start going against your standards. Now, what are standards? Standards are something that people have to reach to get access to you. Boundaries are something, is the line in the sand that no one should cross. And values are your beliefs. These are the things that you do, the things that you do on, the things that you stand on. These are your values. And I think a lot of us haven't thought about what those are. Knowing what your standards are, knowing what your boundaries are, knowing what your values are, it's going to help you to navigate relationships a whole lot easier. Now, I'm going to talk about some of my standards, okay? And I've done this in the past before. You do not have to have similar standards, boundaries, or values that I have. That's the beauty about being sovereign. You need to create your own personal standards, boundaries, and values. They have to relate to you. These are yours. Because remember, you have to be the thing. You have to be the standard. You have to be the value. You have to be the boundary. I have to be in a relationship where someone respects my opinion. I don't want to have a conversation with you and you overtalk me, or you act like my opinion doesn't matter. I want to be in a relationship with someone who shares similar values, ethics, morals, and thinking. Because I don't want to sit here and have a whole conversation with you and you're like, oh, no, that doesn't matter. Just because you value family doesn't mean everybody should value family. The man that I marry, he has to value family. The man that I marry, he has to have some type of morals. The man that I marry, he can't be bought. Like, you can't buy my husband. Like, you can't buy him. That's what really attracted me to him, because you can't buy me because I am the standard boundary and the value. But you can't buy him either because he has a set of morals and ethics and standards that he operates from. And that was highly attractive because I'm that type of person also. That's the reason why I said I wouldn't have taken the financial agreement. You can't trade my value for money. I can't be bought. I can't be bought. Maybe when I was younger, I could have been bought because I didn't know any better. I didn't understand the cost that you have to pay when you sacrifice your values for money, or sacrifice your values to be liked, or sacrifice your values just to be in a relationship. I didn't understand the cost or the burden that happens when that is done. I didn't understand that when you sit here and you stay in a relationship, that you are sacrificing your value. You're a woman who absolutely believes in family, but you're in a relationship with a man for 10 years and he hasn't married you. He hasn't committed to you. Y'all, your relationship status is up in the air. This is the mental drain that happens. That's the mental cost. You thinking that you maybe not be good enough. Maybe he doesn't love you enough. Maybe he doesn't want you. Then it's the spiritual cost of you not trusting yourself to make the good decisions, of you not feel like maybe my spirit or maybe my soul, maybe something is off. There's a cost for exchanging your values, your standards, your boundaries, just to be in a relationship that is not thriving or bringing you any value. And one of the things I had to do, I learned this as I got older. So I understand the younger you are, the harder it may be for you to get an understanding where I'm coming from, of how you can't buy me. I don't care how much money you put on the table. If it is something that's going to violate my value or the things that I value, you can't have it. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much you're offering me. It doesn't matter when you're going to give it. You can't get it from me. And that is where I'm coming from when it comes to that. Not because of saying, hey, all you were wrong, because I get where women are coming from. That amount looks good. He's literally going to be paying her, I think, $100K a month for the rest of her life. So that looks good. She has financial security. But what it's going to take away from her? And she's been on a television show telling everybody that she can that she wants to be married. That doesn't sound like someone who's made peace with she's not going to get married. He's absolutely said he's never going to marry her. He's never going to marry her. And since he's made that comment and he's made that indication, he moved to a Muslim country, got a waiver to live with her so he wouldn't have to marry her. So he's not going to marry. It's not going to end their marriage. So it's only going to end with money and financial security. If she's okay with that, then of course someone's going to take it. If you're okay with that, fine, great. But when I value something and I am the value in it, you can't buy me. You can't put $100K in front of me and tell me to sacrifice my family. You can't put money in front of me and tell me to sacrifice my integrity. Because this is the reason why I don't even give my word. I do not even give my word. There's an old saying in the South, and it's probably North, wherever you are, you probably heard it before. My word is my bond. So I do not give my word because I never want my word to come back void. So I don't ever say, hey, I'm going to do something for you and not follow through. Now, maybe you do something to me that I realize, oh, they're doing something that's going to hurt and harm me in the end. You won't get another chance. This is the reason why I'm a one-time type of person. You cross me once, I'm done, because I know the value and I know that I am the value. And since I am the value, you cross me once, I'm not going to give you an opportunity to do it twice. That would be a fool. But I'm still going to follow through with my word. I've had to do that as I run a subscription. If you heard of Inner Circle, I run the Inner Circle. And since I run the Inner Circle, I've had situations with members where they did some things and I still had to follow through because I gave my word. And I don't regret it. It's me honoring me. It's me honoring the agreement that I have with myself. The agreement that I created with myself is that I would move with integrity, regardless if others do not. So if you don't move with integrity, it is up to me to realize that I have to stop access to me. You don't get access to me once you stop moving with integrity, because I'm going to still move with integrity. That's how I know when I be seeing on these on the internet where these guys are like, oh, I'm a traditional man. I'm not going to take her out. I'm not going to pay for the food unless she's doing this and that and other for me. These aren't traditional men, because a traditional man would still pay for the date and do it without whining and complaining, because that is who they are. That is a value. When it is a value, people stand on it and follow through. But when it isn't, and they're just talking for social media and doing what they do best, we know social media is a whole mess. We already know social media is a whole mess. They're not traditional people, because when tradition is a value, by the way. Being a traditional person is a value. It means you value that thing. You stand on that thing. You want to be treated as such, and you're going to treat others as such until they show you that they are not that thing. It's just that simple. I don't sit here and be like, oh, well, I'm not going to move with integrity because other people aren't. Like, that means I'm not a person of integrity. That's exactly what it means. Just because someone isn't moving with integrity, if that's a value of mine, and it is, that's the reason why I don't give my word lightly. I don't say I'm going to do something or show up for someone or be somewhere, because I absolutely was taught growing up that, and by the way, y'all, I'm from South Carolina. I moved in North Carolina at 8 years old. And not only South Carolina, Geechee. If you know, you know. I'm not going to go into detail. Being that from South Carolina, I was taught that words are spells. Words create and destroy. And words, you have to stand on them. And so I am very careful about my words. And so this is the reason why I move with my word is my bond. I don't do anything or promise anything. And my husband is like this too. That's another thing that attracted me to him, is that he doesn't even promise me unless he can follow through, because we both don't give our word very lightly. We understand the power of our word. And so, yeah, I see that. I'm gonna respond to that in a second. But that's why when it comes to words and integrity, I'm going to stand on it, because I am the value. And since I am the value, one of my agreements with self is that I'm going to move in this world with integrity. I move in business with integrity also. And sometimes people may look at that as though it is a bad thing to move as integrity, that it's a dog-eat world. But I recognize that I hold so much power by moving integrity, by keeping my word, by following through. I am so powerful for doing it. It is a blessing in all three realms to be able to move with integrity. And so I don't sit here and remove my integrity because you show me that you don't have yours. What I do, I cut that person off and they don't get access. They won't access. They'll actually come back and try to get access again, because they understand how I move. They understand how I move into integrity. So your standards is for someone to reach to get access to you. Always remember, my standards is something for other people to reach to get access to me. Know what those standards are. Know what it looks like. Know what type of standards that you want to have in any relationship, so that you can make sure that person also has that standard. You want them to have that standard. I know some people are like, they should have standards. Stop trying to find men that don't have no standards. You're just going to hit the bottom of the barrel when you deal with men that don't have any standards. You want a man who's sovereign just like you. You want a man who's an individual just like you. You want a man who doesn't just jump on every trend just like you. You want someone who moves in this world with somewhat of integrity and family. You want someone who is a reflection of you. So standards. Did I say all the rest of them? Probably didn't. All right. So I give myself safety, but I have to have a man around me who brings safety. I need a man around me who's not going to put me in a situation where I feel unsafe. And not just in the community that I live in with him. When I'm with him, I want to feel like I'm safe, that I can just let everything go and I can just be. I just want to be able to be. And that's a standard for me. He has to be masculine energy. He has to be a masculine man. He has to be a provider. He has to have a provider mindset. I need him to go out here and provide. I need him to have the mentality that he's always thinking of his family. Like, one of the things that my husband told me, and he always tells me this, that he does things and makes moves so that we can have safety and security. He has made sure that even if he's sick, he gets paid. Even if something happens to him, he dies early, there's insurance. He's doing it from all aspects to make sure that I am safe and secure. And that is part of being that, having that provider mindset. And of course, I want him to be able to know how to communicate. I want him to be able to communicate. I want him to be able to talk. I want him to be able to use his words. Okay. I want him to be stoic. I want him to be able to, I don't want him to lead into my emotions, because as a woman, feminine, we tend to have strong emotions. And what it's going to look like if your man, you having strong emotions, and then he jump in also and escalate it. Men that are in their masculine energy should not escalate your emotions. He should be able to bring it down to a neutral space. He should not make it worse. He should not get drawn into every emotion that you have. That's where the stoicism come into as far as the standard. Okay, let me go back and see what people are saying. I wish she could love herself enough to walk away. I know her heart is broken in the state he's keeping her in. At least she will be set financially. She could be set financially, but unless, it depends on what her standards, her boundaries, and values are. All of us are not the same. We don't all value the same things, but there is a cost to pay, because she's went on every place that she can say, talking about she want to be married. And that kind of pain is mental anguish, to be with someone who doesn't want similar, who doesn't want the same things that you do. And then you start thinking about, why aren't I good enough? Why won't he marry me? Why I done gave him kids? Why is he trying to be with me like I'm trying to be with him? And see, is it worth the cost? That's what women ask themselves. Well, is it worth the cost? I stayed on a phone call when I want to hang up. I end up having headaches for not honoring myself. It stopped when I hang up. There's always a price to pay when we sacrifice our standards. There's a cost to pay. If you sacrifice your standards, your boundaries, and your values, you will pay that cost. You may not pay it in the physical realm, because maybe there's a payback, maybe there's money, maybe there's incentive, but you will pay it with mental anguish or mental energy, or not only, it may be spiritual energy you may lose. You're going to lose something. There's a cost for it. Recognize what the cost is before you actually agree to it. Our agreement. Remember, I talked about our agreement. As a woman, you should have agreements with yourself of what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. Like for me, instantly, I absolutely made an agreement with myself before I started. When I first started social media, I said, I'm going to be who I am. Like, I'm not hiding nothing. I'm going to be who I am. I'm not following trends. If you like me, you like me. I'm going to show up and speak my mind. I'm not going to concern myself about who liked me, who disliked me. I'm just going to be myself, and I'm going to show up. And that agreement is that agreement. And doing business and helping women elevate and evolve, I promised myself I would move with integrity. I would move differently. I would make sure that my community understands I'm here to be of service and help, and that I am here to help you. How do you give yourself safety? I'm going to say watch your workshop, because you have access to the workshop. Safety is a feeling. Like, safety literally is a feeling that you give yourself. You can give yourself any feeling that you have. It's from the mental realm. And since it's from the mental realm, it's something that you can create for yourself. You have to, in order to solve the problem, it's a personable issue, which means you have to go and do the work that I put in the workshop in order to figure out about your safety. Because it's different for everybody on how to create safety for themselves. Some people need safety by increasing their finances. You don't feel safe financially. You don't feel safe spiritually. So you may have to actually start digging into your religion and what you believe in and your spirituality. You have to figure out what is going to bring you safety. We talk more about that in the workshop, The Sovereign Feminine, of how to bring yourself safety, because it is absolutely going to be different for everybody on how to bring you safety. In that workshop, I talked about my own personal experiences and how even with the husband, even with people surrounding me who loved me, I still felt unsafe, and I had to create it for myself. I didn't realize it was an internal problem. I kept doing everything I could to find someone who can give that to me, but it was only temporary. And that's how you know that if you keep looking for safety and you're looking at it from someone else, and no matter how close you get to other people, no matter how many friends you have, no matter how many people you surround yourself, you still feel unsafe. It's you. It's a you issue. This is inner work. That's where you have to go and do the inner work. And it's all personal about how to solve it. It goes back to where it started. Because a lot of times if you carry a sense of unsafety with you, of not being safe, it started in childhood. Now it's up to you to go back in childhood and look at how you can create it for yourself. And you will realize that it's beautiful to have a man to make you feel safe. But it's wonderful to be able to walk the streets and realize or feel safe wherever you are, to take safety with you. Women give themselves away and then wonder why they lost themselves. Yes, and this is the start of it. This startup, not like I said, I don't know what her standards, boundaries, and values are, but I can tell you there is a cost. And she's already feeling the cost because she's already running around telling everybody she can that she wants to be married. So if she was okay with the agreement, she wouldn't even mention marriage because she knows it's off the table. She knows that's what the financial agreement is for. But instead, she's put herself in a position where she has sacrificed the agreement that she had with herself, because we all, at one point, you were a little girl. Every little girl here on this live stream, you had certain agreements that you said you would not fall for or things you would not do. And then when you get out here in the real world and you're enticed by things and peoples and behaviors and expectations in society, you sacrifice that agreement. And then you're wondering, why do I feel like crap? You feel like crap because you went into something that you have to sacrifice your standards, your boundaries, or your values. And this leads to you not trusting yourself. So there is a cost on all three rounds. There's a cost physically, where you may feel like you may feel chronically lonely, that you don't fit in anywhere. And then there's the mental anguish and energy where you feel like you're not good enough. And then there's a spiritual cost where you might feel like, oh, I can't even make good decisions. I don't make good decisions because you don't trust your own discernment. So there's a cost. So yes, I understand young girls are like, oh, I want that 100K. Sis, I get it. If I was 20 plus, before I started really understanding and doing inner work for myself and knowing who I am as a woman, I probably would take it too. So there's no guilt, shame, or judgment about it. I just understand exactly what the cost may be as a person who's experienced the cost. Safety is from what, Tyrone? I didn't understand the word you said. Safety is a feeling. And since safety is a feeling, it is from the mental realm. It's created. You can create safety within yourself. Most people don't understand the lack of safety is not because you don't have a man or a dog or an animal or any type of protection. A lot of times the safety comes because as a child, you were put in places to feel unsafe. And you carried that with you. And instead of you doing, and you didn't know about the internal work, you did the external thing. You try to find someone who can make you feel safe, who can give you that feeling. When you feel safe, you can walk down any street, you can go anywhere and know that you're protected. When you feel safe, you can go and be yourself, and you can get on stage and you can go after that thing that you want. Safety can stop you from actually pursuing life. When you don't feel safe, you can stop yourself from pursuing life just because you feel unsafe. And it starts with childhood, because mine started in childhood. I had to do a lot of work in order to correct it. I talk so much about my grandmother and the things that she did for me and how she just took, helped mold the woman I am today. But I don't talk about my mom when she started with I was put in situations that made me feel unsafe. It made me feel like I need to figure out how to protect myself, or I don't have any protection, or not only do I got to protect myself, I got to protect my siblings. And that didn't go away. I had to deal with it. Nobody talks about the price to pay when we compromise ourselves in the spiritual realm. I really realized the day with the headache started. I bet that many of the diseases start. Absolutely. A lot of women, see, the thing is, and I talk a lot about women and what we all have in common in Energetically Feminine. Women want to be a part of the community. It's natural. It's natural to want to be a part of the community, to want to fit in and want to be accepted and want to be liked. Now that you know that, it's easier to figure out, okay, so how do I start being me instead of just being the feminine, the woman? Now, let me start being unique and set myself apart from the community and the crowd of women and be who I am destined to be. So it's absolutely normal for women to want to nurture and sacrifice and take care of the people that they love. It's normal. It's just that this is the reason why sovereignty and being sovereign comes into play when you start realizing there's a price, there's a cost when we do that. She was just a girl he took advantage of. Yes, he's a girl that she took advantage of. Are women afraid to lose a man? How to face that and stand by your boundaries? Majority of the time, women are afraid to lose the person they love. They will sacrifice themselves. They will, the agreement that they have with themselves, what they want to do certain things, like they want to move in integrity, or they want to have family, or they want to have resources. You've heard women who will sacrifice having resources to be with a man. So yes, women are absolutely afraid to lose somebody they love. If they love that man, they are going to be afraid to lose him, and they're going to be willing to sacrifice for him. Ooh, safety is in the mental realm. It is. No amount of money is worth it, because no amount of money can fill the emptiness of soul after betraying ourselves. Absolutely. You will feel that cost for decades or more. Like, there is a cost to sacrificing yourself and going against your own agreement. There is a cost for that, and you will feel that cost from the physical to the mental to the spiritual. And since women have not been taught this information, they tend to sacrifice a lot. Which course again that you have that helps create safety yourself, and also where can I find the course? Absolutely, it's not just that course is not just focused on safety. I'm never gonna lie to anybody, not for no amount of money. It's about integrity for me. So that course is not just focusing on safety. That course is focusing on being sovereign and feminine. It's called a Sovereign Feminine. I did the workshop yesterday. Really, an inner circle member brought up the topic, and we just discussed it out. And we talked about how to create it for yourself. And I talked about my own experience with it and how I had this sense of being unsafe everywhere. And it doesn't matter about being around people who will protect you. It doesn't matter about being around people that love you. When you have a sense of unsafety in you, you tend to back off and you don't live life in the manner that you want to live it. So we talked about that and worked through it in that workshop, but that workshop is not totally focused on being unsafe. Okay. There's a whole lot of other information in there too. And it's where we just talked about being sovereign and how to take control of your life and be the person and living in your truth. Like, y'all, I'm all about living in your truth. I can't stand this copy paste femininity, feminine energy thing that you see on social media, because when you live in your truth, your femininity and feminine energy will show up differently. And so we talk about that in that workshop. We talk about femininity. We talk about sovereignty. That was a question that was given by the inner circle, and that's how we got to talking about feeling safe and unsafe. So I don't want to mislead you or lie to you and say, hey, the whole workshop is about being safe. It's not. It's not. We just happen to stumble on that and have that conversation. And we just talked about how do we create it for ourselves. But it goes back to childhood. If you grew up in situations or experienced situations as a child where you never felt safe, or you felt like you had to protect yourself and others, you're going to have a sense of unsafety with you. Because when I've been married for a very long time, and I still had to go through the process of making myself feel safe, even with a big, strong man. Because I'm only 5'2". My husband's 6'4", about 200 something pounds, and he's strong. He work out. So his strength is there, but I needed my strength. I needed my strength in order to feel safe. That's what women are missing. That's what's missing in this conversation. I have to have my strength in order to be safe. Where to access the course? Click the link in the bio. It'll take you to all of my courses and programs. I know on Instagram, I post so many other content creators and their work. A lot of you all don't understand. I have my own work, my own programs. And so if you're interested in them, just click the link in the bio. And it's called The Sovereign Feminine. And it's all the way at the end. We talk about a lot of things before we get to the end. And then we talk about how to create safety within ourselves. Because that's highly important. Because you have to have your own strength before you can admire somebody else's. That's the reason why I truly do believe that women have to have their own foundation. But we've been talking about standards, boundaries, and values. Now, boundaries for me is self-care. Like, boundaries is self-care. It's just not the line in the sand that you shouldn't cross. It's self-care for me. I have what I call, I've been talking about this for years. I call it sweet talk. I don't like someone to yell at me, and I don't like someone to curse at me. And my husband does neither. He doesn't ever call me my name, and he doesn't yell or curse at me, because I have to be I have to be spoken to in a sweet way, because all of the other things with the way I grew up with, my childhood before I got to my grandmother, I have to be spoken to in a certain way. So I don't give, to me, that's a boundary. I don't want you to curse me out. I don't want you to yell at me. We can have a full grown adult conversation. I'm very easy to talk to. So to me, that's a boundary. That's absolutely a boundary. He has to have his identity. Like, I need him to be an individual. I don't want him trying to follow all the trends or dress, or just because beards are in, he go grow a beard. I need him to be himself. I need him to be an individual. I don't want a codependent man. I want a man who knows himself and who is operating this world as that. Because that's what because then he'll respect my individuality if I respect his. So to me, that's a boundary. I want him to be able to forgive. He got to be able to forgive, because when you are in a relationship, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to do the wrong thing. You don't want someone who's going to constantly hold that stuff over your head. I don't want to have done something to you 2 months ago, and here you go talking about it now. I need you to forgive. I need you to move on. Journals. I journal everywhere, because it's like, this is my piece. This is my piece. Some of them in here, but I have them all over the home. And I don't journal within, like, this is cute right here. This one is a cute one. Like, this is a cute notebook with all the stuff going on. But usually just a plain one, because I don't like the ones who look, I don't like the other ones, because when you tear them out, you'll be missing a couple of pages. They're not sturdy. A notebook is sturdy. So I have tons and tons of journals, tons and tons of notebooks. And one of my boundaries is no one gets to read it without my permission. And they're all over the house because my husband respects it. He doesn't go in there and read them, because why would I want him to read when I'm talking about him sometime? Okay? So you got to have some boundaries. Like, what you're not willing to accept. I don't do gossip. Like, I learned that gossip is very dangerous. Like, I don't deal in gossip. As soon as I start hearing somebody talking about what somebody else is doing, I've learned my lesson. Gossip is not going to help me do anything. And then a lot of times it just gets you caught up in drama. And I like a drama-free life. When you gossip, trust me, the person is gossiping behind you. There's a saying that we have in the South. When a person carry a bone, they're going to carry one back. So I do not gossip. I've learned my lesson. It's disastrous to gossip, because people carry stuff back and then they say something to the other person, and then you got a whole mess. I don't like drama. I don't do drama. So I don't do drama. I like a drama-free life. I like to live my best life. I don't want no drama. And so if you're a person who gossips, stay away from me. Stay away from me, because that's not my thing. I learned my lesson. Even if I'm just listening, I'm not saying nothing. People who gossip tend to take something back regardless, even if you're just listening. So I don't learn not even listen. Just cut it right on off. Cut it. Create your values. Like, what are your beliefs? Stop allowing your family, your friends, and society to tell you what you should value and what you should respect. When you figure out what you value, this goes into creating those agreements with yourself. Like, I literally operate in a certain way. I operate in a certain way, even in business. Even though when people are like, oh, you're going to get taken advantage of, I don't. There's always, for me, operating that agreement, there is a positive thing that happens for all realms for me operating that agreement. Usually when I operate in that agreement, if I lose one person, I gain 3. That's the way it works for me. So there's a blessing. So you don't have to operate in the way that the world tells you to operate in. They tell you, hey, it's a dog eat dog world, that if you have any integrity, you're going to get run over. If you're honest, people are not going to like you. If you move with respect or creativity, that you're not going to get any of these things back. I'm telling you, it's not true. The reason why they want to trick you all into believing that you don't have to have any integrity, you shouldn't be honest, or you shouldn't do these things, is because if they take you away from what everybody else is doing, you may absolutely inspire other people to walk in the way to be in their own selves and be individuals and unique. You may inspire another person to also move with integrity, and the world doesn't want you to do that. They don't want you, the society doesn't want you to do that, because if there's more of you, there's less of them. And so I've learned that as long as I stand in what I value and I keep the agreements that I have with myself, there's so many blessings and positive things that come from that. Like me moving the way that I do, this is the reason why I see people helping the page grow, and I don't have to sit here and pay for advertisement. I don't have to sit here and do things to be seen on social media, because what happens is I move in a certain way in a business wise, and I move in a certain way as a friend, I move in a certain way as a woman, I get all of that back times 10. So don't let the world tell you that you have to move in specific ways. It's a dog eat dog world. You have to get them before they get you. You got to stab them before they get you. You gotta be able to do all these things that goes against what you believe in. Don't accept it. Don't accept it, because there is a cost. There's a cost. That's the reason why they continue to move in that way, because there's a cost. I've seen so many blessings just because of the way that I move. That's what people are admiring. That's the way that I move, the way that I handle myself, the way that I show up, the way that I support and I give service to my community. I've seen so many blessings just from doing that. And this comes back to my agreement with self. Like I promised myself when I cut this social media on, I started doing, I'm going to move in a way that's going to be with integrity, with honesty, and with respect, and with love, and with service. And me doing that has brought so many wonderful people to my page. So many wonderful people sending people my way and saying, hey, go follow her. Here's the page. Some of the people that's part of my community came by referral. And this is because of the agreements I have with myself. I promised I would show up in a certain way. And I'm not breaking that agreement that I have with myself. The more that you continue to keep the agreements that you have with yourself, the stronger you become. The more spiritual energy that you have, the more presence that you have, the more people are attracted and gravitate towards you, because it's rare. We got too many people who will sacrifice their soul, their livelihood, their values, just to get something, and they're trading one cost for another. So create your standards, your boundaries, and your values, and don't allow other people to tell you that they don't matter, that you should change, that it's not going to work, that you won't be successful, that you're not going to get what you want, because that's not true. Because I'm coming from experience. I move in a certain way that people come because I deal with them in a sense of integrity. Even when people leave the inner circle, there's no bad blood. They come in and they go. But even when they leave the community, they leave the inner circle for one reason or the next, they always have positive things to say about the inner circle because of the way I'm going to treat them, the way that I am going to move with integrity and honesty with them, instead of sitting here trying to make them feel bad because they're not a part of the community or not a part of the circle anymore. Because a lot of times they're still here. They're just not in the inner circle anymore for one reason or another. So I get it. I definitely understand why some women would take that deal. And I get it why someone would say, hey, 100K, I can't pass it up. I get it. We're not all in the, we all don't have the same standards, boundaries, and values. I'm just saying, personally, for me, I know the cost of that. There's a cost for sacrificing yourself in order to get a monetary exchange, that especially if you're going to give up or sacrifice the thing that you value. And I've learned that anytime I've done that, anytime I sacrificed something I valued, when I was in a horrible relationship and I wanted to get married, instead of me operating from that perspective or letting that person know I wanted that, I sacrificed my entire self-esteem. I sacrificed my entire being to be with that person. And they still embarrassed me. They still messed me up for a long time, where it took me a year just to start to do the inner work and to start getting myself together and rebuilding myself. So there is a cost when you decide to sacrifice your value, your standards, or your boundaries to be with someone, or to accept something, or to get a monetary, good feelings or whatever it is. So you have to be careful. Have to be very careful. Most people are not going to tell young people. And here I am. Now I'm starting to sound like my grandma. I remember my grandma would be teaching me. She'd be like, oh, you young people, when I was your age, type of thing. And now here I am saying it also. But you have to be careful. It may look shiny. It may look like gold. It may look enticing. But be very careful what you accept. Because you may be accepting something and you have it's a monetary thing that gets you what you want at the time. It's a monetary dopamine hit that gets you that feeling, but it has lasting cost. Because me doing what I did when I sacrificed what I wanted to be with him, I sacrificed my self-esteem. I sacrificed my intuition, because it took me a long time to trust me, because I kept thinking, like, I accepted him. Like, how can I trust me? How can I trust my own intuition, my own discernment, if I was willing to accept him? Why didn't I see it? Because they don't talk about the spiritual cost of when we sit here and accept these agreements, and we accept things that is against what we agree with ourselves and our own values. There is a cost. So I'm telling you, as a older woman, okay, I'm not a young chicken. I'm more like KFC. I'm more seasoned. I'm telling you that there's a cost. The money, it looks good. Everything looks flashy. You know how that there's another saying that everything may look like gold, but it isn't. It isn't. There's a cost for that. And she's already experiencing that, because if she didn't want to get married, why is she going everywhere to tell everybody? Like, she wants to get married. I can see if she doesn't value marriage and she doesn't want to be. Because there are women who don't want to be married. They wouldn't care. They take that financial agreement. It's not going to harm them, because that's their agreement with themselves that they have. They're not sacrificing anything. But she will be sacrificing because she wants to get married. It's just like the story with, what's that girl? I don't do celebrities well, but y'all might know who I'm talking about. That P. Diddy and what's the girl? Lord, I was a teenager when she was out, and I can't even remember her name. But, she had to get rid of P. Diddy. Like Puff, whatever you want to call him, because baby, I've been around a long time. Puffy, whatever his name is. She had to get rid of him to get married and had babies. But she had sacrificed so much, and you could see it. Like, I swear, when y'all ladies be sacrificing yourself and your values, your boundaries, and your agreements with self, it be in the eyes. It be in the eyes. If you actually go look at some of her pictures with Puffy, Cassie, thank you. You go look at the picture with Cassie and Puffy. You can see it's in the eyes. You can see it's in the eyes when she looks so sad. And that's because there's a cost when you go against what you agree in. When you go against yourself and you sacrifice your values, your boundaries, your standards to be with someone, there's a cost for that. And you may not pay it today, but you will pay it tomorrow. Cassie, yes. Wow, this is an entire message. Thank you so much. But it's the truth. It's the truth. I wish someone would have, I didn't let anybody know, because I knew they wouldn't agree with him. And I knew they wouldn't like him, honestly. Even though he came from a good family, I knew they wouldn't like him. I knew they wouldn't agree with me being with him. And the opinion of my family actually matters to me. So that's the reason I really didn't tell me until the relationship was over with. And that's when I got the talk about this. And I started seeing what I was doing. I started seeing about how I sacrificed my own values. Like, as you know, I truly do believe in waiting and not being, not having relations unless there's a commitment. And I sacrificed that. I sacrificed it, and I did it anyway. And I never felt good about it. I feel good about it now because it's in the past and I've made peace with it. But to me, it's when you sacrifice the agreements that you have with yourself, there's a cost for that. And for a long time, I didn't trust my own discernment. I didn't trust myself to make a decision because I had made a decision to be with him. Okay? And there's so many things that I stood on as a woman and the agreements I had with myself that I sacrificed to be with him. On the show, he kept telling her, you never know. One day I may just get the feeling to get married. He's literally dangling marriage over her head like a carrot. And she's going to wake up years from now and be like, I'm never going to get married. And she wants it. Now, if she doesn't want it, that's one thing. But she does. And since she does want it, she shouldn't be in a relationship that she's not going to get what she wants. Because she's going to sacrifice her standards, her boundaries, and value. And when you do that, you mess with the agreement that you have with you. One of the things you don't want to ever do. Listen up. You do not want to ever sacrifice the agreement that you have with yourself. You're literally sacrificing you. The cost will be you. You will sacrifice your thinking and how you see yourself, your self-concept, your image. You'll look at yourself differently in the mirror. You'll literally look at yourself in the mirror and you can be like, oh my gosh, who is that person? Because you've sacrificed so much. When you start looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't know who I am anymore, it's time to back up, come back down to earth, and to start adjusting and pivoting so that you can get you back. There is a cost. There's a cost. There's a mental energy, mental anguish that comes with that. Because then it goes to, why aren't I enough? Why doesn't he see a wife in me? Why can't I be enough? Why won't he marry me? Why aren't I good enough? And the spiritual cost also from it of feeling as though you don't trust yourself. See, the spiritual cost comes back to your intuition and your discernment. Like, you don't understand how many women I've met that got out of these relationships and they realize they violate the agreement that they have with themselves, and they have to work through the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. They have to touch on all those aspects in order to heal. That's one of the reasons why I talk about inner work and healing so much, because you have to understand the cost. You have to understand the cost. You have to understand what are you sacrificing? And if you're sacrificing nothing, then you're sacrificing nothing. But that's not going to be what it is for everybody. Okay? Yeah, absolutely, Amina. That's the right man. That's the right guy. This is a very important message. Yes. It's just ridiculous. It is. And I think, like I said before, sometimes with youth, we're very foolish. Because I was too. I was there too. I was willing to sacrifice my entire being to be with a man, to be with someone who did not want to be with me. And there's a cost I had to pay because of it. There's consequences to that. And I had to rebuild myself, and so that I can look myself in the mirror again and actually see myself and recognize who I am. Because that they don't talk about how the cost comes to, it's more than, not only is it coming from the spiritual realm where you're leaking energy and giving this person energy. You're giving them so much energy. They're growing. If you want to think about it as a water on a plant, you know how when you water plants and the plants keep growing and growing and growing? She is the water. He is the plant. And all the energy that she's putting into him, he's continuing to grow. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually doubled the money he makes, because he has free access to her energy. And having money can stop the process of aging, but if you continue to leak energy and you keep pouring it all into him and giving it all to him so that he can continue to grow, that energy that she's leaking from this situation, it can affect her face, her skin. She can have other physical symptoms from this thing. Like this, there's a cost for doing this, from spiritual, mental to the physical. So if y'all know, I'm going to look at things not just from what I can see, the physical. I'm going to talk about the spiritual part of this, the spiritual things that we're not thinking about when we do these things to ourselves. And with her, that's the reason why y'all, there's a reason why you see women and they get older and they have been leaking energy so long that it's starting to affect their looks. It's starting to affect their health. It's starting to affect how they're able to show up physically. We are still spiritual beings having a human existence. So yes, she has a lot of money, so she can go and get Botox. She can go and get all these things for her face and her physical, so she can keep it. She can keep it up. But if she's leaking so much energy, the leak may be, you know how leaks go fast. The leak may be leaking so fast that she can't stop it, even with all these extra things that science has. So you gotta be very careful with this. So there's a cost. She's taking energy from her source of energy, not from her overflow. Yes. And we talked about the overflow in the sovereign feminine. When we talked about men are never, okay. Men are, we didn't just talk about the sovereign feminine. We talked about that in my energetics video on YouTube. When I talk about energetics of what women bring to the table, that's on YouTube. So anybody can go and watch that video. If a man is taken from you, and it's not from the overflow, you will leak energy. You will have, things will start to show up. Your skin may start to break out, okay? You may start to have rashes. Your face may age faster. Y'all have to realize, since we are spiritual beings having a human existence, there's a spiritual realm that we have to be concerned about also. So if he's taking it from her, and she is the source, which she is, that's why I said she's the water, he's the plant. And he's taking this energy from her. How do I know that that's what's happening? She wants to get married. If she would have never said she didn't want to get married or she didn't care about any of that, okay? Gain weight, that's another one also. If she wouldn't have said, I want to get married, I wouldn't have realized she was leaking energy. But she is leaking energy. And since she's leaking energy, it's gonna, the spiritual realm will reflect in your reality in the physical realm. So this means she will start to have rashes. She may have UTIs. She may have weight gain. She may have weight loss. She may get sick a lot. There's a lot of the things that happen in the spiritual realm will show up in the physical realm. So she's leaking energy and she's not giving her precious energy should be in overflow before he ever taps in. And he is not. You can already tell that. Or he wouldn't put so many of the agreement. He wouldn't have put a financial agreement up. He wouldn't have put a financial agreement up if he wasn't tapping in directly. When women are in bad relationships, you can always tell by their health. Like, for real, their health tells on them. It's like I said, since we are spiritual, y'all have to see that we're gonna have a physical result from the things that's going on in the spiritual realm. This makes so much sense. Pre-COVID, my skin looked crazy when I was with the Dusty years ago. She will lose her glow. She will lose her glow. When women are in the overflow, and the overflow is this: a woman has to have enough for another person. You have to have enough for yourself and someone else. And that's the only way to be in the overflow. If you don't have enough for anybody else other than yourself, and then you start allowing your energy to leak and give it to other people, you will find you're going to have physical symptoms. You're going to have things that are going to happen in your body that's going to be unexplained. You normally don't have acne, but then you start having acne. Okay? You don't normally have UTIs, but now you're having UTIs. You are really very healthy, but now you start to have a cold every month or so. So you have to, people are not allowed to tap into a woman unless they're in overflow. In order to be in overflow, this means she has to be in joy, contentment, happiness, she has to have more than enough to give. Have you ever heard that the, what is it called about the cup? The cup overflows. You have to have that. That's the example of overflow that you need to have before you can give to others. For it not to be a issue. For it not to be an issue with you. And then after divorce, the entire glow up. That's why women glow up after divorce. They don't have anybody else tapping into their energy directly. They don't have anybody that tapping into energy to the point where she, not only does she got to support him, she got to tell him what to do. Not only does she got to be there and be, be there for him, she got to direct him. She got to tell him where to go. She got to tell him where to sit. She got to tell him how to do it. Y'all, that leaks energy when you can't be in your feminine. When you can't rest in your feminine energy, you're leaking it. My cup runneth over. Yes, that's what it's supposed to be. Your cup is supposed to run over before you allow other people to give access to your energy. Like, you should not be out here giving access to yourself when you don't have anything else to give. When you do that, you harm yourself, and the blowback is on you. You harm your youth. Y'all seen women lose their beauty? Women can lose their beauty by giving their energy away when they're not in overflow. When I'm out in the street, people are like, how old are you? I'm 42. You're supposed to be your beauty will be preserved when you're not leaking energy. And the unfortunate truth about this situation, since no one talks about it, I'm glad my grandmother explained it to me, is that science can't always correct a leaky energy. Science can't correct leaky energy. But what you can do, if you want to dial the clock back and you want to start preserving your energy, start using your energy to grow you. Start going inward and using your energy to help you elevate and evolve. And you'll start to gather your energy back, especially if you've been in a situation where your relationship was leaky energy. And leaky energy is when you're in these relationships where these men are not providing for you, and he's abusing you, he's not taking care of you. That's a leaky energy relationship. If you always don't know where you stand at, it's a situationship. That's a leaky energy relationship. If you the side piece, that's a leaky energy relationship, because you're never going to be an overflow within it. Because overflow is contentment. Your cup has to run over. You have to be happy. You have to be joyful. And when you're joyful and happy and healthy, you not only add years to your life, you also add beauty. But you can take it away by being in leaky relationships. And too many women end up being in leaky relationships. They be the side piece. They be in situationships. They be sleeping around and doing stuff like that. This is not judgment, guilt, or shame. I don't care if you did it before. My goal here is to inform you. Like, if you don't know what you don't know. Like, there is no guilt, judge, or shame, because you don't know what you don't know. Like, if I had been raised by my grandmother, I don't know what I would know. Okay? I wouldn't know what I would know. So I was raised by my elder. And see, the elders had this information about energy, and they talked about spirituality a lot of times. And they talked about how you can maintain your beauty. And she taught me about how to maintain my beauty. Not just doing y'all be doing skincare routines, but you ain't got rid of that God is taking your energy. You ain't got rid of that God that is mistreating you, yelling at you, cursing you out. You ain't got rid of them friends that be stabbing you in the back. You ain't got rid of these people who bring you drama. You have to start getting rid of these people who are taking from your energy if you're not in overflow. If you're not in overflow, your energy should be only used for yourself. If you're in overflow, your energy can be used to replenish and help your beauty. You can get your beauty back once you lose it. That's the beauty of this thing. You can get it back, but you got to know what you're doing. You have to know how to get your beauty back. And that's why a pedestal wife up here, she said something about once you get divorced, you have a glow up, because she started gathering her energy, giving it back to herself, worrying about what she needs, worrying about what she like, spending more time with people who love her, being around people who pour into her, being in overflow, and then she gets her beauty back. Because some of y'all, it don't matter what you do, you keep dealing with the wrong people and you have all this leaky energy everywhere, your beauty ain't coming back, sis. I'm just going to be honest with you. You can go and try to get it back through science, but you ever heard of botched? People try every day and they still don't get the results that they desire, because it is a spiritual situation when it comes to your beauty. It's not just you doing a skincare routine or a makeup routine. You can cover up stuff, but even when it comes down to makeup, makeup only covers so much. Under this skin, there's no acne. And I guarantee you, I don't eat the best as I should sometimes. Okay, that's probably obvious. Let me see what time it is. Oh, it's 12:06. I do have an errand to run. We are spiritual beings having a human existence. Never forget, there's 3 realms. It's the mental. This is your thinking. This is where you process things. It's the spiritual. This is the unseen. This is where we can create realities. You create all the things in the spiritual before you bring them to the physical. So in the spiritual, if you're linking energy and you're giving everything away to other people and you have nothing for yourself, stop today. Stop. If you're starting to see wrinkles and you're starting to feel tired, you're starting to feel drained, stop. You're giving too much of your energy away. And it could possibly be a health thing. I'm all about going to the doctor. Get yourself checked out. But start evaluating your life and seeing if you're leaking energy somewhere, and start collecting your energy back to yourself. Bring your energy back to yourself. You see people on social media talk about, I call all my energy back to me. You can call all your energy back to you. But if you call it back and you haven't eliminated things that are leaking in your life, it will not help. That's what they don't tell you. I'm just going to tell you from me learning from my grandmother, you can get your beauty back if you want it back. But you're going to do certain things to get it back. I don't think I ever did a video about the spiritual of beauty. Or maybe I have. It might be an inner circle if I did, because it's not on my page. But I do have a YouTube page. I talk about the spiritual and energetics of a lot of things. I just did a video about the energetics of women and what they bring to relationships, and that's on YouTube. You can click the link in my bio. And that's where she got the thing about the energy, because I talked about it in that video. But you have to be very careful about what you sign up for, because when you sign up for stuff, recognize that there's a cost, and the cost you won't pay once. You won't pay the cost once. Let me say it again. You will not pay the cost once. A lot of times you will pay the cost more than once, because you are effective or affecting the spiritual, the mental, and the physical realm. So you're going to you may pay the cost out your pocket physically, but you're going to pay the cost spiritually, and you pay the cost mentally. So you're paying it more than once. So just because you think it's great to do something now, and you violate the agreement that you have with yourself, you sacrifice part of you to get something, make sure that it's worth it, because you're going to pay the cost for it, and you're going to pay it more than once. Love your red flowery top. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very true. Yes, absolutely. So I talk a lot about the spiritual aspects of it. I was raised with it. I was raised with the spiritual conversations that I have with you all by my grandmother. And I'm glad she did, because now it helps me to see the spiritual cost that a lot of us pay that we ignore. And just violating the agreements that you have for yourself. Like, you believe in certain things. Why are you doing something else? Like, and don't say the world, society, family, friends, because when you say that, that doesn't negate the cost. It doesn't negate the cost. It's the agreement that you have with yourself that's the more important. And that's the reason why I said I couldn't take it, because I'm not for sale. And it's not on this, hey, I'm better than you kind of thing. It's more, I understand the cost. I understand the cost. If I sit here and take $100K and I believe in marriage, I know I'm going to pay for it more than once. And since I'm going to pay for it more than once, when I tally it up, it's not worth it for me. Like, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Okay? The juice ain't worth the squeeze for me. Right, Nina? The juice is not worth the squeeze for me, just because I know how much the cost would be. I know it would take me back to the time where I was sitting here mentally in mental anguish, just concerned and worried about why he don't want me, why he doesn't want something serious with me, why he won't commit to me in this manner. If y'all listen to that video, they literally said he treats her like the nanny. That's enough for me. So we're in a whole relationship and you're gonna treat me like the nanny, and some of them kids is not hers. He came with one, I think. One or two of those kids. And so when you realize the juice ain't worth the squeeze and the cost is too high, then stop paying the cost and stop doing things that's going to put you in that place of sacrifice. That is draining. Yes. How are those kids supposed to view their mother? With no respect. Because I guarantee you, with no respect. Y'all understand, kids get like me personally, when I was with my mother, I didn't respect her because I saw her do things that was not respectable. I saw her go against her own agreements and the things that she said. And then it not only did it lead to a lack of respect, it led to a lack of trust, because she would say stuff and I knew I couldn't trust it. Like she would say, hey, we're gonna go do this. This is the reason why I'm very careful about my word. Like some people laugh at me and they're like, she ain't gonna give her word unless she can actually do it. That's the reason I don't give my word, because growing up as a small child, all the way up to the age of 8, when my mama told me something, I couldn't trust it. I knew it may or may not happen. And with kids, you have to be able to trust that you can count on your parent. And so that's the reason why I'm the type of person I am about my word. Like, even if we fall out tomorrow, even if we fall out tomorrow and I said, hey, I'm going to go do this something for you, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it. You might not get it again, but I'm going to do it because I understand how I need to protect myself and make sure that people shouldn't get access to me if you show me that you're not trustworthy. But if you say, if I give you my word that I'm going to do something, and then you call me and curse me out and call me everything but the name of God and everything but a child of God, I'm still going to follow through what I promised to do. Because that's how I know some people ain't about this life. Some people are not about the value that they say that they have, because I am the value. And since I am the value, I'm going to follow through and do that thing. But you may not get it again now. Trust you're not getting it again, because I'm a one and done type of girl. I've learned that I'm valuable and I am the value. So I don't give people more than once to try me. Okay, so I'm done. But I'm going to follow through my word. That's why I don't give it. Unless I'm going to do it. And that's what her kids are learning. Now, and she's going to be very surprised when her kids, see the kids are like, they are not like, there's an expression that a lot of adults use it. And I hate it because it makes no sense. Do as I say and not what I do. You can't live like that. Living like that is confusing for kids. And what they tend to do, they still do what you do. That's what they do. They did a whole study on smokers. Smokers told their children not to smoke like them. Guess what the kids did? They smoked like them. The kids follow what you do. There's none of this do as I say and not what I do kind of mess. You have to do it. You have to be it. Yep, that's right. The lack of trust and respect for the mom from the kids. And she will experience it. She'll see when they get older. Because when a kid is a kid, and I remember when I was a kid, there was a lack of trust and respect because of the way she moved and the way she acted. And those are the type of things, even as an adult, you have to work through them. Okay. All right, but that's all I have to talk about. I don't have anything else to talk about. If you want to work with me, or you like to join one of my programs, click the link in my bio. My YouTube is free. You can always go over to YouTube and you can listen to a lot of my content. My content is free. You can go over there and watch all the videos. Actually, some of the private videos, I might unprivate them, because I've been talking about this stuff for a very, very long time. So I don't see anything else for ain't nobody else saying anything. I'm about to get ready to go, because I do have to run a quick errand. But we about to do back to the basics. We're going to go back to the basics about relationships, and we're going to talk about these things this week. So this is kicking off the series. Thanks. Thank you all for being here all the way to the end, because I know this was a long video, probably over an hour. And then I have to see if my YouTube, if I had more followers on YouTube, then my page can handle an hour video. But when I put an hour video up there, it brings my algorithm down. So that's why I want to put it up there on YouTube, because it's important. It actually kicks off all my energetics and spirituality talk that I've been having. Thanks. Thank you for this. Will you be streaming the series on YouTube? Yes. It's a part of the series I've already started. I know I'm kind of like going backwards with it because of this situation in the post, but it's going to be a series it's going to be on YouTube. I'm going to do the energetics of what men bring to the relationship. I got to do that this week, and that's going to be live. But I am going to go kind of like back to the basics. That's going to be, all these 2 videos are going to be part of the back to the basics series. I'm probably going to pull them in a series so it's easy for people to find. YouTube live, yes. I don't even know why you apologize for extending. We love these lives. Thank you. Well, we live in a time where people don't like long lives. And I don't know, y'all, I don't know how to do like short lives. I'm long-winded, I think. I've already tried to do like really short clips and get it straight to the point. And I'm like, it's just not me. I'm sorry. I have to be myself. So if it's long lives, it's long lives. I'll get to the point. Let me get warmed up. I'm a little older. I have to warm myself up. And then I get to the point of the video. Love this. I'm back all week and going to YouTube right now. Absolutely. I'm going to be doing it on YouTube and building the YouTube community. Definitely if you all watch the longer lives on YouTube, it helps. Because in the algorithm, will be like, oh, she just posts long videos, and then it'll keep pushing it. Usually when I do a long video and post on YouTube, it brings the algorithm right on down, and it messes with the numbers. I like the long live. It's like having a conversation. Yes, I don't know how to do it any other way, because I'm not a social media content creator kind of thing. I think when I do it, I'm talking to my friends. I'm talking to my community. I don't think of it like I'm talking and teaching from like a classroom kind of setting where I can really be quick to the point. I don't even know how to do that. So I'm long-winded. So it ends up being a long live. I don't think I've ever been able to successfully do a live stream without it being longer. And I like the long lives myself because I get warmed up and get to the point. And I can break down a topic, through the live, through that long live, versus me trying to get to the point real quick. That's the reason I don't do so well on TikTok, because TikTok, they really like the little short clips. Y'all like, why am I over there? Because I'm long-winded. I can't get 3 minutes out. I can't even get to the point in 3 minutes. I'm so used to, I was raised by the elders, like I like to call them. I was raised by my grandmother. And when you sat down and talked to your grandmother, it was not short clips. You got the full version. It was a whole hour lecture. And I just sit and get comfortable because I knew she was going to be talking for a while. Even when I was with, like, my whole family like this too, man. I ain't the only one. All of them are long-winded. All of them are long-winded. You didn't tell a story. They got to do the sounds and everything to go with it. I wish I was getting to the point quickly. Then I could do TikTok. Then I could be on the TikTok. But I can't be on the TikTok because I can't do 3 minutes. And then people be like, what was the point? And then since I don't know how to clip, I don't do good at grabbing my clips either. So I don't get the right clip. And I'll be like, hey, this part is good. I want that one up there. Then I'm like, no, this part is good. Then I end up putting nothing up there because I don't see here all of it's good. And I'm gonna put the whole thing up there, but it's not possible because they don't have like an hour. They gave me 10 minutes, but even 10 minutes I found won't enough to get the entire thing. That's why I ain't on the TikTok. Not like that. I got a page over there. I got my short stuff I attempted to put on the TikTok, but I'm long-winded. So that's the reason why I just stay on YouTube and Instagram, because I know Instagram, YouTube, they're used to people talking they're long-winded too. You're too funny. Yeah, that's the reason why I try to stay up at TikTok. I pull enough content there anyway, or sent content. And y'all can send content. I think someone asked me that in a live stream before. They was like, can we send you content? Yes. Let me tell y'all a little secret. And this is not me being vain or anything. This is the truth of the matter. Some of your biggest content creators came through here before they became big. And they sent their content to me. And I posted it. And they went and did their thing. Okay? But, you know, normally that's the reason why I promote only a couple of the content creators up here. Because some of the content creators reach back and they try to hit the page. Okay? But a lot of them, they come through here. You can send content. I get sent content all the time. And some of your big ones that you see all over social media, they came through here first. They surpassed me. And I'm okay with that. Because sometimes y'all have to understand, when you understand what your place is and what you're trying to accomplish, when you have a role of service, it's going to look different than everybody else's. So since I have the role of service, I get sent content and I post to the page. And sometimes that page, it helps that other page so they can be seen. So maybe they came through here, they were seen, and they blow up. And some of them reach back and try to help the page. Not all of them now. You know how I said before, sometimes when you value integrity, everybody's not going to move in integrity. But I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to show up in the way that I need to show up so I can go to sleep and rest my head at nighttime. So I'm still going to be me. Regardless if everybody else is going to do what they do. So if you got content and you're like, don't be scared, send it. DM it, email it, get it to me. It actually helps, since I view a lot of content a day. I view a lot of content a day. Like when I say it's unreal, and once I get another assistant, then I won't have to view as much. Right now I have no assistant. It's a lot to view a lot of content like I do. Please save the live. Can't watch the whole thing at once to work. I'm gonna post to YouTube. I might just cut out the ones at the end where I'm rambling, because this is just rambling. I'm just giving people time because it lags. And since it lags, I don't know if people have something they want to add or say or question, because y'all know I actually answer your questions. Own it. Yes. Girl, you know me long enough to know that I'm long-winded. I am long-winded. You asked me one question, and I answered the question, gave you an example, and still talking about and give you a story to go with it, to connect it all. No, that's true. All right, so I appreciate you all. Definitely, if you have content that you want me to see, send it. I can't guarantee it all make the page, because the page does stand for, it has to actually make sense for what I talk about and the things I want to showcase for the community, for it to be posted. But majority of the time, I try to make sure that I look at it to see if I can use it. So I don't see anything else. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I will see you all on the next.